Okay, we're live. Welcome back to another episode of EPL Pitch Picks. This is match week 16. Season's kind of flying by a little bit. I'm 3 Point Sniper. The X handle is below, and I'm here with my buddy Ryan, our Spurs Ryan. How you doing, Ryan?
Better than on the last weekend. That was quite an interesting array of games, to say the least.
Yeah, tough for us here on the show in regards to giving picks out to you guys, so we apologize for that. But done the work behind the scenes to hopefully provide you guys some winners this week. And also, Ryan, you're going to do a little shameless plug here. Another big day of college basketball tomorrow, so please make sure you follow me if you don't already. We're on a 9-2 best bet streak, so going to
Hell yeah.
hopefully roll that heater into tomorrow after we get done winning some money on some Premier League in the morning. So let's get back to the task at hand, and we'll just go ahead and jump into it to not waste your time on this Friday afternoon. So tomorrow, first game out of the gate, it's going to be at 10 a.m. on Peacock, and that is going to be Everton traveling to the Emirates to face off against Arsenal. I have a pick in this game. I'm going to go ahead and give that pick, and then since we're super close with Arsenal and Ryan and I are supporters, we'll listen to his thoughts about the game also. But my pick for this game is Bukayo Saka to have an assist in this game, and that is at plus 175. He's been kind of dominant against Everton over the last few years in Premier League. He has recorded an assist in 3 out of his last 4 games. He's in incredible form, just won Champions League Player of the Week, and is still, I think he took top honors in player rating in the Champions League, but he's still the top rated player in the Premier League for sure. And he also leads the league in assists. So Arsenal, coming off that, unfortunate draw at Craven Cottage, the expected goals really let them down in that game. They should have gotten a win. I think you see an inspired performance at home, facing a vulnerable Everton team and a team that Bukayo Saka finds some success against. So I'm going to take that plus 175 for an assist. You never know. You could just get Saliba flying through the air on a corner kick, and boom, there's your assist. So like that play a lot. And in regards to the game, Ryan, what do you think about the game?
Yeah, I mean, I was so gung ho about us, putting the pressure on Fulham, dominating and everything. But I got the wool pulled over my eyes just a little bit. Fulham are really good at Craven Cottage, and we still did really well. We kind of did what I thought we were going to do. We just couldn't score. I think against this Everton team home at the Emirates, I expect Arsenal to actually put the ball in the back of the net. The Saka play is I will probably tell it. He leads the competition with 18 big chances created. So the opportunities are going to be there for him. And I expect him to definitely, get an opportunity to. My only worry is maybe he'll just score a hat trick and just be like, I'm kind of done giving everybody, assists. But yeah, I think Saka is going to be the big reason to keep this Arsenal team ticking. I know since Odegaard's back, they've been doing really well. But yeah, I expect Arsenal to roll. I didn't really take anything for this game, but I think we kind of keep the ball rolling. We did really well, against Monaco in the Champions League during the week, and I expect an Arsenal win here. We've beaten Everton the last 3 times we've played them, so yeah.
I think there's such a value here in this price that they have it set at, because you in years past you would kind of see the number set here for Saka also, but this year, I mean, the corner kick is such a weapon for Arsenal, and when it's on that side and Saka's whipping the ball in, I mean, you could just instantly pick up an assist there. So I think there's a ton of value, and like Ryan said, he's created the most big chances in the league. I think like almost doubling up second place. It's getting close to that. But yeah, best player in the league, player rating. So we're going to back him to get an assist in this one. All right, moving right along, another 10 a.m. kick on Peacock. This is going to be Fulham traveling to Anfield to face off with Liverpool. Ryan and I both have a pick on this one. I'm going to let him go first this time.
Yeah. So if you guys were tuned in last week, you knew I kind of avoided corners at all costs. Was trying to shine away
Why?
from it.
We need your corner picks.
Well, I'm glad you said that because they're back and they're back in full force. Most of my picks here are in fact corner kicks or corner picks. I have Fulham plus 3.5 corners. It's a little pricey. It's at minus 125. Yeah, I mean Liverpool. They're averaging about 6.21 goals. Per game. 5.43 at home at Anfield. And then Fulham average 5.53 and 6.14 away from home. And they're both averaging about 5 to 6 corners conceded. So I'm thinking this is going to be a very close, tightly contested as far as corners go. Anyways, at plus 3.5, I'm jumping all over this. I think it might be a 1 or 2 quick difference. Obviously, the big elephant in the room is Liverpool are top of the league and they are the best team right now. But the way Fulham played Arsenal last weekend, and I don't think this is the same Fulham team that usually bends over and takes it from Liverpool. I think they're going to come out Liverpool swinging. I do think this is going to be a more closely contested battle, despite what the majority of people have been saying this week.
So I differ in opinion a little bit there at the end. My pick in this game is going to be Liverpool first half money line. That's at minus 130. And the big reason for that is we talked about it a little while ago with the XG disparity in the Arsenal game. Fulham only recorded 0.21 XG in that match. And now they're, going to Anfield and facing the, best defense in the league by far this season. Like, it's not even close. Hurts me to say that as an Arsenal fan, but Liverpool's been by far the best defense. So I think Fulham's going to find it really tough to, get big chances and find the back of the net in this one. And, Liverpool having, a little bit of a break, not playing last weekend against Everton, think that could help some legs a little bit, maybe come out, a little quicker than normal. And then also, Bassey picked up a yellow card suspension from the Arsenal match. So he's missing this game. And they're already without Anderson. So I think they could be a little vulnerable in the back. I don't think they're very, very deep defensively. I'm not even sure who Fulham's backup center back is, but I just think it's a perfect, storm and opportunity for Liverpool to, take a halftime lead. Hopefully Fulham comes back in the second half and beats them. But my bet's going to be Liverpool first half money line.
I actually like that bet a lot. It's definitely a bet I was looking at. Liverpool are 5-1-1 at halftime at home. So, like, a very impressive record. The thing that kind of deterred me a little bit is Fulham like to play close in the first half. And away from home, they are 1-6-0. They drew 6 games and won only 1, but they haven't lost. It was kind of like walking that fine line. But you brought up a really good point in Bassey not being able to play. I think he is this is going to sound very hyperbole-ish, but I do like this Fulham team. I am a little biased. He reminds me a little bit of William Saliba. I think he's the anchor in that defense. He's a big body that could carry the ball, dribble out, and do good things. And I think without him, I think is going to be a huge deal. So despite, the Fulham halftime stats away from home saying one thing, I actually really like that pick. I do think the score may not reflect it as far as when the whistle gets blown in full time, but I do think, it's kind of notorious that Fulham are known to just bend over and take it from Liverpool every time they play each other. I think that this Fulham team is going to go down swinging. Now, will they, will they make it will they take any points? That's another thing. But no, I definitely think this will be an interesting matchup in the fact that I really like to see how Fulham play without Bassey, because Bassey is like, I honestly think he's the most underrated player on their entire roster.
I need to check, but I'm pretty sure he has played every single minute for them in the Premier League
Yeah,
this year.
that makes sense.
Oh.
And I believe their backup is Diop, or something. I don't know, but they're in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, this is just bias. That's it. I'm being transparent. I'm being, I love Smith Rowe. I love Iwobi. I think I could see Jimenez heading a goal in for them. But it'll be interesting to see how they make do without Bassi. That's for sure.
For sure. All right. Next up at 10 a.m., this one is going to be televised here in the States on USA Network. It is going to be Leicester City traveling up to Tyne to face Newcastle at St. James Park. And I believe Ryan has 2 plays for this game. So Ryan, what are they?
Oh, wow, I do. I was like, no, I don't. Yeah, no, I definitely do. So my first pick, shocker, another corner bet. I have Leicester plus 3.5 corners at minus 120. I mean, just Newcastle about 5.5 corners away from in total. At home, they're like 4.86 to be exact, and they concede about 6.43. Whereas away from home, Leicester about 4. Well, no, exactly 4, and they concede 7. So again, it's very similar to my Liverpool Fulham bet. I think the corner kick battle will be very closely contested. I do think that both teams will have success in attacking in the final third, which also leads to my next pick, Newcastle and Leicester. Both teams to score, no draw. The projected XG for this game is 2 for Newcastle, 1.1 for Leicester. I could see it going really. Oh, excuse me. Let me apologize. Let me rewind this a little bit. I have both teams to score over 2.5 goals, not even no draw. So they could draw. Leicester kind of surprised a lot of people. They took a 2-2 draw against Brighton last week. Surprised me because it lost me my bet in stoppage time.
Surprising as well.
Yeah, so I do think this Newcastle team, again, we talked about this. They're the team that I picked to finish top 4, which is not looking too great. They have a lot of hiccups. They were very defensive last season, very tight, and wanted to just grind out 1-0 wins all season. Now they're kind of opening up a little bit. They're attacking more. Isak's kind of finding his rhythm a little bit. That is leaving them open to conceding goals. And I do think this Leicester team, where I think they're definitely a relegation level team, they do put the ball in the back of the net. So, 2.5 I think is great when you're expecting Newcastle to probably score 2, Leicester to score 1. But again, Leicester has been overperforming XG most of the season. So I really like the over 2.5 a lot, and that's at plus 100. So give me that plus money. I'll take it all day long. And then just one more quick stat. They're both averaging about over a goal and a half a game, and their average XG conceded. Newcastle's 1.4, Leicester's 2.1. So again, going back to I expect one, if not both teams, to have at least 2 goals each. So yeah, that's my second bet.
Yeah, no, I like those a lot. I think you got a pretty good read on that, and I will definitely be telling. Moving along, the next kick is going to be another 10 a.m. and this one's going to be on Peacock, and this is with Ipswich Town traveling to Wolves. My Wolves keep staying down there in that relegation zone. Wolves keep staying down there. We both have a pick on this game as well. I'll go ahead and start. I'm going to change my tune a little bit. This is going to sound a little weird, but I actually think that Wolves have a chance to potentially pull this one out. But that is not going to be my bet. My bet is going to be Wolves and Ipswich, both teams to score no draw, the parlay that Ryan likes to do all the time, at plus 135. And the reason why I like this play so much is that these are 2 of the worst defenses in the league. They've given up almost 60 goals combined together. I think it might even be over that. So wretched defenses. And shockingly enough, Ipswich, they have a low goal score tally, but they seemingly always score at least 1 goal on the road. It's really weird. They're one of the lowest scoring teams in the league, but they've only been shut out on the road twice in the Premier League this season. So I thought that was kind of wild. And then the last 3 home matches for Wolves, they've scored at least 2 goals. So I think that there's potential for goals in this match. I like Wolverhampton to win the match, but if I can get both teams to score no draw at plus 135, I'm going to jump at that because who knows? Ipswich could win this game 3-2. I don't know, but I don't see a draw. I do see someone pulling this one out, especially with like I've harped on the leaky defenses. That usually is not a recipe for a draw because they just don't know how to hold on to games. So yeah, I like both teams to score no draw plus 135. And Ryan also has a play in this game, so let's hear it.
Yeah, I have another corner bet. Ipswich plus half corners at plus 105, right? I said that right? So essentially Ipswich winning the corner kick battle plus money. And it's crazy because Wolves have been really terrible at corners. I think they're like the worst in the league. So I don't understand how I'm getting plus money to Ipswich to win. So obviously the books know something that I don't, but I'd like to, kind of plant my corner king kick flag, whatever on this. But yeah, the Wolves are averaging 2.93 corner kicks a game, and their conceded average is 8. Ipswich, they average 5, and their average conceding is like 6.8. So like Ipswich like to concede too. But yeah, it's still like Ipswich concede less, they get more. So why is plus half plus money? It doesn't matter. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it at plus 105. I think kind of piggyback what you said. I do see the Wolves maybe sneaking this out and getting 3 points. But I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. And I think the corner kick battle will be close. I just think the Wolves just concede corners. Every time I watch them play, it's something I always notice watching them play is they just leak corners out every game. So yeah, I'm taking Ipswich here at plus money.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. And then the last kick tomorrow, it's the 12:30 on NBC over here in the States. That is Aston Villa traveling to the City Ground. Neither one of us have a pick in this game. If I had to lean this game, I would lean under 2.5 goals. But every time I try to dabble in and under with Aston Villa, Duran comes on and scores, like a chip from midfield. So I'm out on that. I'm not going to take an under in this game, but that is certainly my lean. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I was leaning toward was Nottingham Forest to score a goal in the first half. It's like plus 100. Yeah,
Why do you like that so much? That's interesting.
Yeah, I think they come out swinging early for us, and I think they're slowly getting back to health as far as with other players and stuff. And they have 4 goals for, 1 goal against in the first half at home. So it's not too crazy, but I don't know. This Villa team is just all over the place. I can't get a read on them. They're conceding 6 goals in the first half away. So yeah,
Wow.
again, it was just a lean. It wasn't anything crazy. The stats don't necessarily back what I'm saying up too much. But something just tells me that Forest are gonna. Let's put it this way. I don't necessarily think it's a Forest are gonna score in the first half. It's more of like a Villa are gonna concede in the first half. And yeah, it was plus money, so I was like, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, that was something I leaned toward. But this game's weird because I think both teams over the last 2 seasons have taken kind of a little bit of a rise and have played really well. And they're slowly starting to dip at the very same time. Forest was 3rd place in the league. I think they were 2nd for a week. They got blown out by City, and we're thinking like, okay, City's back, and then we find out no, Forest just bottle it, and they're just on the down trot. So, and Villa gonna Villa. Like I was saying, preseason they're not gonna be able to handle the congestions of fixtures and all the games that they have to play with Europa League and stuff. Or is it Champions? Whatever. They're playing European football.
Yeah, they're in the Champions League.
Yeah. So this is kind of a weird game, and that's the only really lean I had. It's funny you said under because I was actually looking at the over because
Really?
I'm
glad we're both staying away then.
I'm definitely staying away. I don't know. I could totally see the game opening up in like the 50th minute. Like if things aren't going either team's way at the start of the second half, which is very possible because both teams are not playing well. I can expect the field to open up and there'd be some goals.
All right, moving along to Sunday. You have an early 9 a.m. kick on Sunday, and that is with Crystal Palace traveling to the MX to face Brighton. I have a pick in this game. I'm going Brighton and Crystal Palace to draw at plus 275. This is a fun one, plus 275. So let's try to get it done. But it really comes down to Brighton's play over the last few weeks for me. They've drawn Leicester, they've drawn Southampton, and they've lost to Fulham in their last 3 games. I mean, their form is just not trending up. And I actually like the way that Crystal's defense has played at times this year. I think LaCroix was a really good pickup for them. And I think they're kind of solid at the back. A lot of their problems, or especially earlier in the year, they just couldn't score. And I think they still do have that problem. So with, Brighton trending down in form and, Crystal just never figuring out how to score all year long, I think we could be due for a really low scoring battle in this game. And I would also lean the under. And if I had to give out a predicted final score, I think this has 1-1 written all over it. And I went and looked at DraftKings before we started the show, and you can bet a correct score of 1-1 at plus 500. So if you're into that and want to sprinkle, certainly by all means. But I think that we see a 0-0 or a 1-1 draw in this game. So at plus 275, I'll certainly take the shot. Do you have any thoughts, Ryan?
No, this is one of the few games I had nothing. I have nothing on this, and everything you said was spot on. This Brighton team is not playing well as of late. They're getting chances, but they're just not, they're not putting them away. This Palace team, I say this about every team, but they're my new Bournemouth. I can't figure them out ever. I started betting them on early. I started betting on them early on the season, thinking that they were going to pick it up. They never did. And then when I stopped betting them, they kind of picked it up. Yeah, I don't know. I do like the draw here. But a little fact, West Brom, geez. Brighton have not, I don't even know what, I guess I probably saw the Albion and I immediately my brain went to West Brom. Brighton haven't lost a Palace in 6 meetings. So that's something to look at. But to further your pick, 2 wins, 4 draws. So, if I had to pick, honestly, I probably would lean draw. But from even prior seasons before we started this show, and kind of doing research, looking at bets, I don't know what it is. I just never. I feel like I have to be on a side. I can't just be like, I just think they're both going to draw. So it's not. It's just weird. It's just not something I really ever look at. But in this situation,
I think the value in betting them goes up significantly if you're leaning to an under in a match.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
So that's when I really start to hone in on it. And then like we talked about, I go and look at form, and at this point in time, I don't see either one of these teams, pulling out a win. So go with the draw.
Yeah.
Especially with those odds. So, okay. And then we move to the big one of the week, 11:30 on USA Network here in the States. That is the Manchester Derby, United traveling to City. And I have several picks in this game. Recently, I've had a lot of success betting on this Manchester City team. I was on them in that 3-0 thrashing of Forest. And then last week with Haaland to score a goal. I'm actually going right back to the well with that. We got a little bit unlucky last week because we took Haaland to be an anytime scorer and to be the first scorer of the game. He was the first scorer for City, but City somehow got scored on by Crystal Palace before they could get one in the back of the net. So we kind of washed on those, but we're going right back to the well with that bet at the Etihad. So we're going to take Haaland first goal scorer at plus 275 and Haaland anytime goal scorer at minus 145. And if you go and look at the 4 Premier League games that Haaland has played against United in the Premier League, 6 goals, 3 assists. And one of those games is a hat trick. 4 games. So he has been all over their ass. And, I kind of expect that to be the same here this weekend. As Ryan said, Man City's not playing great at all. They keep dropping points all over the place. Premier League, Champions League doesn't matter. They're in horrible form. But you know what? They were able to take advantage of a team in Forest who was trending down at the Etihad. And now they're getting another break in the schedule with a team who also can't figure it out, United, traveling there. And then you add the extra juice of the rivalry to the game. And I think it's going to be a big performance for City. So I'm also going to take them -1, and that is my pick of the week. I think they, win this game by 2 goals. So if you wanted to take the plus money of -1.5, by all means do it. I'm just going to take the one at -110 to have, a push in my back pocket in case they only win by a goal. But I am going to also take the over 2.5 their team total over 2.5 at +150. Like I said, I think it's a big day for them. United's, they're fighting after Europa League games because they're fighting over who gets to shoot and try to score the goal. It's a complete mess over there. So that's my thoughts on that game. I think it's big. Ryan, do you have any thoughts?
Not really. I really want to see United play more with this new manager. I think they're getting a little better. I don't know how much better, but again, this City team, it's funny. You've been all over City the last few weeks. Well, I mean, you've been all over City probably the whole season, but I'm staying away from the City team just based on the fact that
I've been good at picking my spots.
Yeah, the City switch is going to flip. I'm just convinced that they're just going to turn it on and just win every game. I just don't know when that's going to be. I keep waiting for it. And last week I had the City money line, and it just, I don't know. I don't know what this team, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I do know what's going on. There's no Rodri, but it's just, I'm still Rodri is and was and will be their whole entire team. I didn't think they would be this bad. I don't know. He really and I tweeted this, or I replied to a comment or something, but Rodri is probably not going to play most of the next calendar year. And if City play like the way they've been playing, you might as well just give him the Ballon d'Or again, just because they are so lost without him. It makes him look so much better, even when he's not on the pitch, which is just crazy. The other thing I was really leaning on was both teams to score no draw. It's at +105. The two teams haven't drawn against each other in 11 straight matches, so that was kind of cool
in this game.
Say it again.
I could see 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that floated on the card just because they haven't drawn in 11 matches. But again, I don't know why I could just see United tying it late, or United be winning the entire game and City tying it late. I don't know why. Listen, let's be real here. My gut's been wrong a lot for a big part of the season. I don't want to say a lot, a big part of the season. I can see a draw. My gut's saying draw. I don't know why, and I'm sorry because you have your pick. But again, my gut has been wrong at reading games, the last couple of weeks especially. But I don't know. I just, for some reason, it's a primetime game. Both teams are gonna, all eyes are gonna be on them. City are just not good. They're not playing well. The question is, do United seize the opportunity? I don't know. I don't think they're going to, because there was a big opportunity to seize in playing Arsenal, where Arsenal were missing their entire left side. Well, their entire back left side. And they didn't do anything to it. So I don't know. It's interesting, but and it's funny. My gut says draw, but then my lean was both teams to score no draw. But it's just, it's definitely a game that everyone's going to be watching. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I forgot to bring this up a little while ago, but City have only lost one game at the Etihad this year, even with this bad run in form. A lot of it's been on the road. It was a 4-0 thrashing from Tottenham, which is I didn't even get to see any of that game, but that's very, very embarrassing. But
they got carved. I watched that. They got carved up pretty bad.
The home form has been pretty true to City standards. They're just struggling away from the Etihad. So there's something to be said with that. And then, we talked about how Forest has been on the decline lately, but they walked into Old Trafford and just basically got whatever they wanted last week. And I watched a lot of that match.
Mm-hmm.
They scored 3 goals. I don't see how City don't score 3 goals in this game. So I love my bet on that for over 2.5 plus 150. I think they're scoring 3. I just do. All right. Moving along, we got 2 p.m. kicks here on the East Coast on Sunday. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's super weird. But the first one that we will talk about are the Bees of Brentford traveling to Stamford Bridge to face Chelsea. I have a pick in this game. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. Brentford can just score goals, plain and simple. They're tied for second in the league in goals, 31 goals scored. If you're going to give me a goal and a half as an underdog, I'm going to take it because this team, Chelsea can't run away and hide from Brentford. Like Brentford, they're going to find ways to get their chances throughout this match. And we've talked about it on the show a lot. They like to score early. So, Brentford takes a 1-0 lead here at the Bridge. I mean, Chelsea's got to score 3 goals for us to lose this bet. So I'm certainly backing the Bees in this one at plus 1.5. I'm not really getting into the weeds on stats on this. It's just they can score the ball. So, give me plus 1.5 with the underdog. Ryan, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I had a few leans for this game, and then funny, I ended up taking none of them. First one was Chelsea-Brentford. Both teams scoring to a draw. Again, I see a lot of goals in this. I definitely think that this will be a highly contested game throughout. But I was like, I could, again, I don't know, guts saying maybe 2-2. But my real leans are really in the corner kicks. Brentford, the only team to have 100% over 10.5. Every game they play away from home has gone over 10.5.
Wow.
I was leaning. Of course, have to do it. I went over 11.5. That's minus 115. I was looking at that. Brentford just concede a lot of corners. We talk about the Wolves being really bad at corners. Brentford away from home are the worst. They concede roughly 10 corners a game. So I was like, putting the numbers in, I was averaging Chelsea to probably get 8 and Brentford to get like 4. So that's over 11.5. I ended up not going with it. Chelsea over 7.5 corners is minus 115. That was something I looked at as well. I do see Chelsea getting at least 8 corners in this game. Brentford just concede corners. But yeah, I ended up taking none of it. But those are definitely things like, maybe if the minus 115 goes to maybe plus 100 or something like that, if crazy line changes, maybe I'll take it. But I kind of just stayed away. But yeah, I expect Chelsea to get a lot of corners this game, and potentially Brentford getting 4 or 5, which.
And I think I saw Neto's on a yellow accumulation suspension. I think he's been a pretty good player for them this year. So obviously that's not really going to move the Vegas market per se, but I think that does hurt Chelsea a bit. So yeah, I'll take the underdog in that one.
Yeah, and Brentford haven't lost to Chelsea in the last 5 meetings. So again, supporting your bet. 3 wins, 2 draws. So yeah, I could see Brentford definitely pulling the upset for sure.
All right. And then moving to the last game on Sunday, another 2:00. This one's going to be on Peacock, and that is going to be Tottenham Hotspur traveling to St. Mary's Stadium to face Southampton. And Ryan has a pick in this one.
Yes. Again, shocker, corners. Am I right? I was leaning 2 different ways here. I was leaning either – I like both. I was actually just going to put both on my card. I ended up just going for one. But my lean for right now – my lean was Tottenham minus 2.5 in corners. I mean, they're just – them and City are probably the 2 best. I honestly, no, I take that back. I think Arsenal now with Odegaard back, I think they're kind of jumping into the mix. So it's probably them 3. But City, Tottenham, and Arsenal are the teams to bet as far as like overs and corners.
Right.
And I have them probably getting 8 in this game, the way the numbers work out, about 8. I'll actually just tell you what my pick is. My pick is over 7.5 corners for Tottenham at plus 105. Like I said, I have them coming out to about 8 corners. you can give me plus money for it, like I'm going to take it. I definitely see him getting more than 8. That's just what the numbers show. For Southampton, it looks like they're probably falling at like a 4, maybe 5 corners. So the lean was Tottenham minus 2.5 corners. That's minus 110. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the plus money. I do see Tottenham going over 8 corners. I think this Southampton team is just leaky. I think Tottenham are going to run through them. I think someone like a James Madison is going to have like a really good game. And yeah, I think Tottenham will come at them fast and strong. Pause. But yeah, in the first half, there was things I looked at like maybe over 1.5 goals in the first half. Stuff I looked at, but I wasn't really leaning the other way. I was just curious what the lines were. But yeah, I think this is Tottenham corners written all over it.
Yep. Like that pick. You're incredible at those. So yeah, I'll be tailing. And then the final match, this is going to be Monday Night Football, and that is West Ham traveling to Bournemouth. And I will let Ryan go ahead with his pick on this one.
Yes. So again, I have a pick and a lean. My pick is Bournemouth, West Ham, both teams to score, no draw. Yeah, the projected, I guess it's weird to say projected XG, but they're saying it's Bournemouth 2.4 to West Ham 1.0. 1 point, you say 1. Yeah, I definitely think both teams are going to score. This Bournemouth team is surprising me every week, and the West Ham team is surprising me every week too. But one surprising me in a good way, one surprising me in a bad way. I can't read, I still can't really read this Bournemouth team. The books love them. 3-Point Sniper loves them. I'm still bullish. I think they're solid everywhere, but I just think Semenyo carries them. I think they're gonna drop off this season. I don't know. Again, I don't know. The switch is gonna flip for them to the other way again. And then you look at West Ham. I think West Ham are I think on paper West Ham are a better team, and I think if they played this game early on in the season, I mean it's still early on in the season, but I mean like the first couple of weeks, I think West Ham rolled them. But just the way both teams are kind of trending in opposite directions. West Ham's kind of showing life a little bit, but they're just too inconsistent for me. So I just think both teams will score a no draw. Because the books are telling you Bournemouth are gonna win. It's a non-issue, but this West Ham team, they're again inconsistent, but they're a very pesky team.
And Kudus is back in the fold now.
Yeah, and it's funny because his first game back, they lost. They didn't do so well. But yeah, I think Kudus kind of gives them another dimension. Obviously you have Bowen, by their best player, but I think Kudus definitely is going to make them a difficult threat to handle. But anyway, so the books tell you Bournemouth, and then I have an interesting West Ham stat that West Ham have won their last 4 night games as an away underdog, which I think is very interesting. So if you want to sprinkle West Ham money line at plus 320, yeah, maybe. I probably am not going to do that. I just think this Bournemouth team is solid and consistent. They're not great anywhere, but they're solid and consistent. And this West Ham team is anything but that. So it makes me a little nervous. But yeah, I have both teams just going to draw. A lean I had was Bournemouth first half money line, which kind of complicated things further in my findings while looking at this game. It was just very interesting. Bournemouth like to score early, and it's funny because we talk about a team like Brentford who just come out swinging like early and fast and hard, and they're just all over you, and they're insane at scoring the first half. This Bournemouth team, they score in the first half, but it's not necessarily just constant pressure, and it's not just them running at you. They're just a solid team. A lot of games they play in, you could tell teams when they're playing, they're like trying to adjust, trying to make passes, trying to kind of wake themselves up in the game. Bournemouth are on the pitch, woken up, they're ready to go. So when teams are trying to find themselves in those first 10, 20 minutes, Bournemouth are ready to go, and they usually put one in. So yeah, I like the first half money line. I think that was plus 100, plus 1. I think it was plus 120. I ended up staying away from it, and I ended up just doing Bournemouth, West Ham. Both teams to score, no draw, which I know sadly for everyone that tails both of our picks, little bit of a conflicting view from what I've just told you, which will now lead to Jackson's pick.
Yeah, so I definitely took notice of how heavily favored Bournemouth was favored in this game, the same as you did. I was like, I don't know if I necessarily see that. And then, anecdotally, just in my head, I'm like, oh, the vitality's been, crazy this year. Like that, it's been a fortress. And I went back and looked, and it actually has. They've beaten Arsenal, they've beaten City, they've beaten Tottenham, and they've drawn Newcastle all at the vitality this year. So I believe that is why they're getting so much love in the Vegas market. But I'm more along the lines of your thinking. I think West Ham are going to bring a fight to them in this game. I agree with you. I think both teams do score. But I don't see West Ham coming in there and winning the match. I just personally don't see that happening, but I think they have enough fight to at least squeak out a draw. So that is going to be my play in this game. It is going to be a draw in this match at plus 320. So that's my lean on this one. I think it'll be a fun Monday match. Kind of had some snoozers this year, so I'm excited to watch this one. And we both believe that both teams are going to score, so it should be pretty fun.
Yeah, I definitely think so. For me, this game has a lot of players. Like I talked about Semenyo, talked about Kudos, talked about Jared Bowen. They have a lot of individual players that I'd love to watch. So I'll have my eyes on certain players, not necessarily the actual game itself.
All right, that wraps us up for the week. You want to just run through our cards and then give some final thoughts?
Yeah, let's do
it.
All
right, I'll go ahead and roll through mine real quick. All right, first one is Bukayo Saka, plus 175 to get an assist. And then Liverpool first half money line, minus 130. And then Wolves, Ipswich, both teams to score, plus no draw. That's parlay at plus 135. And then Brighton and Crystal Palace to draw at plus 275. Then we got 4 picks on Manchester City. We have Man City minus 1. That is my pick of the week. We have Man City team total over 2.5. That is at plus 150. We have Haaland to be the first goal scorer in the game at plus 275. Then we also have Haaland anytime goal scorer at minus 145. And then we have Brentford plus 1.5 at even odds plus 100. And then the last one, again, is Bournemouth West Ham to draw, and that is plus 320. Are you muted, Ryan? I can't hear you.
It's funny. I thought I was muted, and I went to unmute myself, and I actually went to mute myself. So I got Fulham plus 3.5 corners. The spread plus 3.5, minus 125. Newcastle, Leicester, both teams to score over 2.5 at plus 100. Leicester plus 3.5 spread corners, minus 120. Ipswich plus half corners, so they have to win the corner kick battle at plus 105. Tottenham over 7.5 corners at plus 105, and Bournemouth, West Ham, both teams to score, no draw, plus 110.
All right. No, I'm excited for this weekend. I think it's going to be a fun week of action. We've actually got some great matchups this week. I feel it's been lacking recently. So, and I think that a lot of the games should be pretty high scoring. So I'm excited to watch. And hopefully Liverpool drops some points. Sorry to all of you Liverpool supporters out there, but want to get that race at the top a little tighter. Hope my Gunners pull out a big victory over Everton. So those are my thoughts. Ryan, you have any?
No, I mean, you've said everything pretty perfectly. I feel like there's always like 1 or 2 games that I'm like, I want to keep a close eye on. This week, there's a lot more. I think this week, a lot of teams that are downtrodden are playing teams that are also downtrodden. So it'll be interesting. And same thing, teams that are playing well are playing teams that are playing well. And it's funny, I think the most, and I'm jinxing it now, but I don't, no, I don't believe in jinxes. I think the most boring game will probably be the Arsenal Everton game. Just as far as, I just don't think. I think that it's definitely the most lopsided matchup that we have the whole weekend. I mean, people could argue Liverpool, Fulham. I don't know. I just for some reason think Fulham are going to show life. I think this again, the scoreline might not reflect it, but I think the actual gameplay and watching the game, I think will be very exciting, and it won't be as boring as Arsenal and Everton.
Agreed, brother. Well, appreciate you guys joining us. And again, we always appreciate when you click and watch, but we will tweet our cards out later tonight. So if you weren't able to, I guess you're not watching this right now, but other people will be able to view our cards on our Twitter account. And yeah, so that's all we got for this week. College basketball people out there, bet Arizona -1.5 tomorrow. That's best bet. It may have moved while we've been recording this show, but Wildcats are going to get it done in Tucson. So, all right. Thank you and appreciate it. And Ryan, if you'll sign us out.